Hi, I'm Sam Horn. Here's what's coming up next on What is Your Pregame?
But that time right before you open, I love.
Sometimes I'll see the guys' eyes because we want to see them every day. I'll see their body language. You know what I'll do?
I think being a pitcher is very stressful. How do you deal with that?
I think that.
Hi, and on today's episode, we sit down with co-founder and CEO of Be Good, Anthony Eko. We slide by the practice of the Providence Friars and hang out with head coach Edie Cooley. And earlier this season, we went down to the dugout and caught up with last year's Cy Young winner, Rick Porcello. And as usual, we'll wrap things up with our Fan of the Week. So sit back and relax as we bring you What is Your Pregame? All right, welcome back to What is Your Pregame? I'm Sam Horn, and we're hanging out today with Be Good founder and CEO, Anthony Eko. How you doing, buddy?
I'm doing great, Sam. Thanks for being here.
All right, Be Good. Tell us a little bit about that. How did you get your name?
So we started the company 13 years ago, me and my partner. We had grown up, both our parents worked, and we had an Uncle Ferris that used to take care of us. He used to feed us meals every night. He used to basically take care of us as a third parent. He was a crazy guy. He was real. He was authentic. He was, transparent, and he was such just a good person. But he was completely insane. But he was amazing to us. He used to cook meals for us every night. Meals made with love. Meals made with the best ingredients. Meals made so that you could feel good about eating it. That was always what we wanted this restaurant to be, or this company to be. An authentic place, a real place, a little bit quirky, but a place where you could get food that you could really feel good about eating.
Well, you're from Harvard, great school. What did you learn at Harvard, and what did you take from that?
I think I learned a lot at Harvard. I played 2 sports. I learned persistence. I met a lot of amazing people from very diverse, very different backgrounds. I think Harvard's an amazing place, and I think the most amazing thing about it is the people. The people that go there, they're special in some way, and I think the best thing for me was just getting to know so many great people, and really learning to deal with a lot of different things, and very rigorous class schedule, but then also dealing with athletics and everything like that, and it was a really great experience for me.
With the stress of opening a new location every 2 to 4 weeks, let's listen in to Anthony's pregame and how he de-stresses. Well, our show is about your pregame. Why don't you tell us about your personal pregame?
So my personal pregame on a daily basis, okay, is I get up really early. So I get up around 3:30 in the morning, drive to work, get into work around 4 o'clock in the morning, and then I have basically 5 hours before I see anybody else.
At 3:30 in the morning, you got to have some pick-me-up. You have a pick-me-up?
I go and get a coffee every morning, same place every single morning. Dunkin' Donuts open 24 hours right near where I live, and I get the same thing every single morning. But for me, it's a time when I can actually get work done. It's a time when I can actually think, and I think so many of us are so busy throughout the day, just going nonstop and trying to get things done. You never actually sit and think. And I think if you were driving the streets at 4:30 in the morning or 4 o'clock in the morning, they're empty. But if you're in an office at 4 o'clock in the morning, it's also empty. And that's the time when you can actually sit back and reflect about what's happening. And that's, I think, when you also come up with your best ideas.
Well, opening a new business has to be very stressful. How do you deal with the day-to-day stress that comes with opening a new business?
Yeah, I think opening a new business is very stressful. There's a lot of crazy things that go into it. You got to get your team ready, you got to train people, you got to deal with all those 10,000 things that have to happen before you open. But that time right before you open, I love. I love. It's that time like right before a game when you're excited and you're nervous all at the same time, and you just can't wait to get things started. I love it. And we're opening restaurants at a pace now that I can actually get to experience it a lot. But it's something that I really love, that moment before you open a business. I got my son James, and he's definitely a de-stressor. So, I get home around 6 o'clock every night, and the first thing I do is go to find James, and We went through a stage of superheroes about 2 months ago, where every time I got home I had to put on a cape and a mask, and I was Superman and he was Batman, and we would run around the apartment building trying to save people. That went on for about a month and a half. And now he's on his princess stage, where he's a princess. And every time I come home and I have to be the prince. So we dance and we sing, and I listen to him sing Frozen. He loves the movie Frozen. So he's Rapunzel right now. So I'm expecting the next stage to be something really interesting. But that's definitely my distressor is my son, 100%.
All right, you're here with Anthony Eko from Be Good. We'll be right back after this.
Now, we are a 116-year-old, fourth-generation, family-held construction management firm, of which I represent the fourth generation. In addition to our work at Fenway, we work for all of the fine institutions across the city, from Mass General Hospital and Brigham and Women's to Boston University to Boston College, and even across the river at MIT. But with these clients comes very, very high expectations on their projects. So I can say, representing the fourth generation at Walsh Brothers, we build to perfection.
What's the value of capital? Well, what's it cost to modernize a school district? What's critical thinking worth? A basketball costs about $14. What does it cost to build a new sports arena? What's team spirit worth? A telecommunications system isn't cheap. What's it worth to talk to your mom? What's the value of one more tree, a forest, a walk in the woods? What's the value of art? Art open to the public. The value of capital is to create not just wealth, but things that matter. Morgan Stanley, capital creates change.
Looking for one of the best steakhouses in Boston? A place to mingle and socialize. Hang out before and after the game? Well, Del Fresco's is the place to be. Award-winning wines, great spirits, fresh seafood, and the home of the Double Eagle steak. When you're looking to outlast your opponent, it all starts with your pregame. Del Fresco's Steakhouse, for when you want to be on top of your game.
I am Anthony Eko, founder and CEO of Be Good. When I'm in Boston, I hang out with Sam Horn. What is your pregame?
Welcome back to What is Your Pregame? We're still here with Anthony of Be Good. Let's head back and talk about the business side of things and the uncertainties that await you. Welcome back. We're here with Anthony Eko from Be Good. Tell us, it must be nice to start a business with big bucks in your pocket.
I wish I knew, because I did not. When we started this business, I was 28 years old. I worked in consulting for 4 years, lived at home with my parents, saved up all my money and put everything I had into the business. We've been through crazy ups and downs, and we went through times when we literally had zero money. I remember filling up my gas tank $5 at a time because we didn't have 10 in the bank. And I remember every Thursday night just worrying so much, are we going to be able to make payroll? And that was something that haunts me to this day of never wanted to go back to that, but we definitely did not know what it was like to start a business with a lot of money. We bootstrapped this thing from the beginning.
Last question here, Anthony. For our viewers out there, do you have any tips for any of our young people who would like to follow in your footsteps? Yeah,
I think, first of all, go into it with eyes wide open. It's not going to be easy. It's going to be tough. You're going to go through a lot of ups and downs. You got to be persistent. You got to be resilient. I think being an entrepreneur means going through ups and downs. Everybody goes through it. There's going to be good times. There's going to be bad times. I think the other thing is really think. I think so many days we go through and we don't actually think. We just go through what has to get done. We never actually take a step back and look at our situation, where we are as a person and as a company, and actually think for a few minutes. I think when you talk about me coming in early in the morning, I think that hour that I have every day, or however long it is, to just sit and think is one of the most important things. And I think every entrepreneur you're going to go through ups and downs. You're going to go through crazy changes in your business. You're going to get stuck in a rut, and you're going to have to pivot and change. And I think the way to do that is to actually just step back and take a breath and think about what you should do.
So, if you want to be good, think like Anthony, CEO, founder of Be Good. Before we leave Be Good, let's toss it over to Victoria and find out what Anthony's main ingredient is.
Anthony, tell me, main ingredient, what is that key element for you that has made your business a success?
So I think the key element for our business is being nimble and changing. I think like when we started it, we were different than we are now. A year ago, we're different than we are now. And I think a year from now, we're going to be different than we are now. And I think the one thing that is very unique about Be Good is we're not tied to one thing. We can change, we can react, we can be nimble and be different. And I think that's the best thing we have going for us. And I think it's always been sort of what we've used to be successful.
Sounds like you're a true entrepreneur.
Yeah.
So Anthony, what is that key element for you in your life?
I think the key element in my life is persistence. I'm not the smartest guy in the world. Definitely.
I don't know about that. But
but I think I've been pretty persistent, and I think I've learned to take a lot of ups and downs, and I think that's what you need as an entrepreneur, is to be resilient, persistent, and be able to deal with a lot of ups and downs. And I think that's one thing that I can do, is be persistent.
Well, thank you, Anthony, for joining us today. You're watching What Is Your Pregame?
The main ingredient is brought to you by the Wetzel Group at Morgan Stanley. Contact Todd Wetzel, financial advisor of the Wetzel Group at Morgan Stanley at 508-870-7025 to learn more about how his team can help you with your investment needs. All right, welcome back to What Is Your Pregame? We're hanging out with Edie Cooley, Providence Friars. It must be nice to be at home coaching, huh?
It feels great anytime you have a chance to have your family be part of what you're doing and what you love, and you have passion for it. It's great to be in Friartown, man. I'm very, very blessed.
Well, we're blessed to be here today. Thank you for letting us invade your practice. While you're evaluating talent, is it more important the mental aspect of your player or the physical attributes?
I think once you get to know them, you see where they are mentally. You ask them questions like, where do they want to be? Do they want to be an NBA player? Do they want to be a prospect, or they just want to come to college? So you ask them questions that lead up to some stuff. Then the other thing is, are they talented enough to play for you?
Right. When you're out here, you only have 15 scholarships, 15 players on your team. Where do you pull most of the players from? Do you try to come close to home, or do you go abroad, or you just look for the best players?
It's just like, when you get married, you look for somebody who loves you that's good enough, right? So I look at recruiting no matter where you are in the world. We have players from all over the country, all over the world, and we look for players that fit here culturally, academically, and athletically. And if we can get the three, we feel we got a special person.
Our show is called What Is Your Pregame? Tell us, what is your pregame when you come out here before a game?
Well, I like to get up in the morning, I say a prayer, I have a ritual, I go for like a 3 to 5 mile run, I watch film, I'll meet with our staff, we'll go over our preparation, we'll get a great meal. I think nutrition is important.
I was just gonna say, you're speaking about meals, what type of meal would you have and what time would you have that?
We try to eat 4 hours before the game. We'll always have a high protein diet of a fish, a chicken, some sort of pasta, not heavy pasta. We'll try to stay away from the sugary stuff. Not a lot of juice, a lot of waters, but we try to really, a vegetable, a salad, maybe some soup, but we always want to make sure we're putting the right things in our body. I tell our players, what's your favorite car you ever wanted in your life if you could afford it? They say a Maserati, a Bentley, but you know what I tell them?
Right.
You put the best fuel in the Maserati or Bentley.
Exactly.
Your body is a Maserati. Put the best fuel in your body so you can have the maximum amount of, results.
Well, you play here in the Big East Conference. That's a tough conference, a lot of talented teams. Is it more important the record of the team or the talent that you're playing against when you're building your team?
Well, I think you got to start by building your culture before you can build the team.
Right.
Like, what is the culture? What are you concentrating on? Who are you? And once you have a culture built, then you start influxing talent. and hopefully that results in winning. We've been fortunate to do that here. We talk about how culture matters, how we want a community to be engaged in what we're doing as a program, and we want everybody to feel part of it. That's how you build a culture, and that's how you build an organization.
So, you know, you guys talking about winning, you won in 2014. How do you tell your players, how do you inspire your players to go out there and stay hungry and want to win another championship?
Be hungry, be humble, be persistent. I want them to be better than they think they are. But more importantly, how do we play together? And I think when you have guys that are on the same page, rowing the boat the same exact way in the ocean or the river, I think you're going to have success. It's easy. Do your job. And if you do your job, you get the results, I'll put you in there.
Well, there you go. Here on What Is Your Pregame, we're hanging out with Edie Cooley. He's definitely a guy doing his job. We'll be right back after these messages.
We're drowning in information. Where in all of this is the stuff that matters? The stakes are so high. Your finances, your future. How do you solve this? You don't. You partner with a firm that advises governments in the Fortune 500 and can deliver insight person to person on what matters to you. Morgan Stanley.
Hi, I'm Sam Horn, and welcome to What Is Your Pregame, a new show full of flavor and with a little twist.
When I'm in Boston, I hang out with Sam Horn. What is your pregame?
We'll bring you up close and personal with some of your favorite CEOs, celebrities, and athletes to find out their pregame. We will take you behind the scenes at some of your favorite restaurants to find the best high-performance recipes. Hang out in the dugout as we talk pregame prep with some of the game's best players and coaches. All this and much more on What Is Your Pregame? You're watching What Is Your Pregame? We'll be right back after this.
Dadgar Insurance is a 30-year-old insurance agency with kangaroo being our symbol of protection. I am the big kangaroo protecting my clients in my pouch. We specialize in insuring real estate and restaurant risks, and we don't discriminate about the size. Whether it's a two-family in Somerville or a Chinese takeout in Chelsea or 1,000-unit apartment buildings or a chain of restaurants. At Dadgar, we insure it all.
Hi, my name is Edie Cooley. I'm the head coach of the Providence College Friars. Whenever I'm in Friartown, I hang out with my main man, Sam Horn. What is your pregame?
Back here at Friarstown, we're still talking to head coach Edie Cooley. We asked him, what would you like to be most remembered for? With the team, I seen in practice, you were coaching. Is it more coaching during the practice or during the game?
It's definitely during practice, you know, not just talking to them about the game, but how it translates to life. One of the things I love doing is seeing how young men grow and use basketball as a platform to get them to somewhere they didn't think they can be. But you definitely do way more coaching in practice than in a game because it's happening like you can't stop the game.
Yes. Stress, speaking of the game, how do you deal with the stress during the game?
I really don't feel stressed during the game. I'm a little anxious, but stress, no, you're more stressed before the game, the buildup of the game, the anticipation of the game. You're always putting scenarios through your head if we're down or up, tied score, what's our last second play, full court, half court, three-quarter court, free throw. So you get a lot of these things going through your head so you're already prepared for it. Stress, I feel more stress at home, making sure I do the right, being on time, get my daughter to an event, make sure I take care of my bride, take her out to dinner. That to me sometimes is stress.
All right, so let me ask you this then, Coach. During the game, if you're not dealing with stress, your players are. Mm-hmm. How do you lend a hand in that department?
I love it. So sometimes I'll see the guys' eyes because we want to see them every day. I'll see their body language. You know what I'll do? I'll say a really bad joke. I'll have a really, really bad joke. And they'll be like, Coach, man, that's terrible. But I'm taking them off the game.
Right.
Or I'll just do something like that's not normal, and they'll look at me and it gets their mind off of it really quick. And you've got like a 8 to 10 second gap to know it, execute it, and then get back to what you have to get to it, and it really relieves a lot of their stress.
You talked about a couple of situations just a second ago. Do you have like a particular little like rah, rah, rah for them? Or is it the heat of the moment?
It's more the heat of the moment. It's only so much rah, rah, rah you can have. I think you have to be real with your players. I think you have to be open and honest. You got to tell them exactly, precisely, on time what they have to do in order to have success. And our guys know that. I'm not going to BS them in any way. I'm not going to try to sugarcoat anything. This is what you have to do. If you don't do it, you won't play.
All right, sounds pretty simple. Last question. What mark or what will you be known for when you leave this school and this program?
It is my hope in 10, 15 years when I retire from here, God's will, is that I'm known for building an unbelievable program, establishing a family culture where the community is part of it, where our alumni, where our current students, where people in Rhode Island will say that coach did the right thing on integrity, character, passion, and enthusiasm. If you can get all those things, you built an incredible organization.
Well, you heard it here from Ed Cooley. If you want to do all of the right things, maybe you should come to Providence College as well. Thanks, Ed. That was a great interview. Up next, last year's Cy Young winner, Rick Porcello, as he shares his pregame and his support system. All right, welcome back to What Is Your Pregame? We're hanging out with Red Sox starting pitcher, Rick Porcello. How you doing, big man?
Doing well. Thanks for having me on.
All right, so tell us a little bit about what's your pregame routine.
Yeah, you know, I like to keep it pretty consistent over the course of the season. I don't mix it up too much unless things are going real bad. But I like to get to the ballpark around 2 o'clock for a 7 o'clock game. Usually go right into the kitchen, get something to eat.
What would that consist of?
Usually rice and chicken. Try and get some carbs in me, a little bit of protein. Try and dump some hot sauce on there so I can get it down. But
there you go.
Yeah, and then by the time that's over, I go and I get the lineup. So usually, hopefully, the manager from the other team has sent the lineup over, and I can look over the hitters that I'm going to face and take that up into the video room, and I look at the hitters basically like their at-bats for the past week and see where they're at, because things change over the course of the season, and try and you know, get some information on whether or not they're catching up to the fastball, if they're hitting the breaking ball well, what's going on with them, and then basically write a couple of notes and take my strengths and try and put it up against their weaknesses. And then from there, go to the hot tub and start working on the body. I get my body loose.
Oh, hot tub.
Yeah, get it going there, and then head up into the weight room, get a little 15-20 minute warm up in, get my shoulder loose in the training room, and usually by that time it's put the headphones on and get locked in and ready to head out there.
So didn't mean to cut you off, but you said throw on the headphones. We hear that a lot. What type of music does Rick like?
I'm a lover of all music. Usually on a game day I like listening to hip hop, some rap.
Any particular song? Like, you know, a lot of people say, hey, I got to get one song that gets me hyped up. Is there one particular song?
There's not one particular song. You know, I like listening to Future a lot. I like some old school rap too. So I'll listen to kind of anything to get me going and kind of get that aggressive mind frame going that I need to go out there and, you know, do my job.
Well, you're talking about your job. Pitching is a tough job, and I was a hitter. And every now and then we had a little stress. I think being a pitcher is very stressful. How do you deal with that?
You know, I think the beautiful thing about all team sports is you've got teammates, and that's why they're there, to lean on guys. You know, if things are going tough for you out on the mound or in the box, you know, we provide support for each other, because we're really the only ones that know what each guy's going through, because we spend every day with each other. So that's kind of how I deal with stress, is I rely on my teammates, and hopefully I can provide the same support for them.
Great stuff, Rick. Next up, our Fan of the Week. Don't go nowhere. Looking for one of the best steakhouses in Boston? A place to mingle and socialize. Hang out before and after the game? Well, Del Fresco's is the place to be. Award-winning wines, great spirits, fresh seafood, and the home of the Double Eagle steak. When you're looking to outlast your opponent, it all starts with your pregame. Del Fresco's Steakhouse, for when you want to be on top of your game. Kapow!
JP Fuji Group is the largest operating Pan-Asian restaurant group in the Metro Boston area, with 10 varying concepts including fine dining and fast casual atmospheres. Guests of any JP Fuji Group establishment can always expect the highest quality ingredients, innovative menus, and superior customer service.
I want to give them a present, I want to give them a gift, and I love doing what I do. Nothing beats that feeling of give people something. I hope they can taste the love that I put on every single dish.
We are a 116-year-old, fourth-generation, family-held construction management firm, of which I represent the fourth generation. In addition to our work at Fenway, we work for all of the fine institutions across the city, from Mass General Hospital and Brigham and Women's to Boston University to Boston College, and even across the river at MIT. But with these clients comes very, very high expectations on their projects. So I can say, representing the fourth generation at Walsh Brothers, we build to perfection.
Dadgar Insurance is a 30-year-old insurance agency, with kangaroo being our symbol of protection. I am the big kangaroo protecting my clients in my pouch. We specialize in insuring real estate and restaurant risks, and we don't discriminate about the size. Whether it's a two-family in Somerville, or a Chinese takeout in Chelsea, or 1,000-unit apartment buildings, or a chain of restaurants. At Dadgar, we insure it all.
When I'm in Boston, I hang out with Sam Horn. What is your pregame?
Welcome back, but before we wrap it up, we're gonna hang out with Victoria and the Fan of the Week.
I'd probably wake up early, take a shower, make like a nice breakfast.
What do you eat?
Probably I'd make like an omelet and have some yogurt with granola and like fruit, make it all nice, and then probably look over my notes before the exam. She has it all figured out. Yeah.
I see you have a nice routine. Do you do it every time?
Pretty much every time.
Okay.
I feel like I don't look at them too much because that kind of makes me more nervous, but having a routine is good.
So what about the fact you're eating yogurt and eggs and that kind of thing? Are you looking for that high protein energy?
It's also feel good food too. So if you feel good in your exam, I think it's gonna go better, right?
Is that part of your mind?
Yeah. Especially like look good, feel good. So you gotta dress up, you gotta look good.
Look good, feel good. I love it. Look good, feel good. You're watching What Is Your Pregame?
I'd like to say a special thanks to our guests today, Anthony, Ed, and Rick. And I'd like to thank our sponsors, Dadgar Insurance, Walsh Brothers Constructions, Del Fresco Steakhouse, and the Wetzel Group. And a special thank you to you, the viewers, for watching our show. You can see more on whatisyourpregame.com and other social media. I'm Sam Horn. I'm your host. We'll see you next time.
I'm Anthony Eko, founder and CEO of Be Good. You're watching What's Your Pregame? Oh no, sorry. And that's it. What is your what? Okay, I got it. I'm Anthony Eko, founder and CEO of Be Good, and you're watching What's Your Pregame? What is your pregame? What is your pregame? Okay. I'm Anthony Eko, founder and CEO of Be Good. You're watching What is Your Pregame? I'm Anthony Eko, founder and CEO of Be Good, and you're watching What is Your Pregame?